Many people get confused. Why do some investors hold stocks for 20 years and quietly build serious wealth, while others panic and regret deeply every time the market crashes? Today, I'll explain the real difference between equity investing and value investing with clear examples. First example: 20 years ago, as an early employee, you received 10,000 shares at 10,000 dealers. Earnings per share were only 0.50. The company stayed private, went through major shocks, but you believed in it and held on. 20 years later, the company bought back shares at $1,000 each. Earnings per share reached $50. Your stake is now worth $10 million. This is the true nature of equity investing. You don't depend on the stock market. You simply own a piece of a good business that keeps growing. The only real risks are picking the wrong company or paying too much. Your mindset stays calm because you know what you actually own. Second example: same company. 20 years ago, you bought 10,000 shares from the public market at 10 ZAYU, when PE was only 20x. You also held for 20 years. By 2019, earnings per share grew to 10 ZAYUs, and the stock briefly hit $600, a 60x PAE. Then a major external shock hit. The stock crashed hard to $200. As a regular investor, you felt heartbroken, doubtful, and full of regret. You lost sleep wondering why you didn't sell at $600. But 7 years later, the stock is back at $1,000 with earnings per share at $50. You also ended up with $10 million. The financial result is exactly the same as the first example. The only difference? You suffered unnecessary pain and anxiety from price swings. The third example is classic value investing. You judged fair value around 35x P6. At 20x, it looked deeply undervalued, so you bought at $10. 1 year later, the market re-rated it to 50x P6. You sold at $25 and made 2.5x your money. 150% annualized. But this approach can miss long-term growth. The key insight: equity investing is the foundation. Value investing is just a tool. Picking great companies and holding long-term is the core. Using valuation swings to buy low and sell high can boost returns. When you combine both, you capture both the company's growth and market opportunities. Here's how to do it in practice. Build a portfolio of high-quality companies. Hold your core positions long-term. Trim some when valuations get high, and add back when they get cheap. This way, the stock market becomes a useful tool instead of a source of stress. The most important lesson: you must clearly know what game you're playing. The first two examples had the exact same financial result, but in the second one, because you didn't understand equity investing, you suffered constant mental exhaustion. Once you distinguish equity investing from value investing, you remove a huge amount of unnecessary anxiety. If this helps, like and follow. Leave a comment telling me which approach you relate to more.